Welcome back everyone. Today we are looking at a big problem. Seized seat posts. Yep, if you got one of these, your bike is potentially a write-off. Let's see what we got. So just to be clear, this frame is scrap metal. I picked this up for £5 just for this video basically. This seat post is well and truly seized. You can see someone's had a really good go here. They've splayed the frame open, all sorts to get chemicals down, etc, etc. This is never ever coming out. Equally, this lovely GT, someone's had a damn good go at this. Looks like I've took a flamethrower to it. Totally knackered the paint on it and been completely unsuccessful. You can see the seat post has been in a vice and all sorts. They've had a real good go at this. And again, they've failed miserably. So when I say seized seat post, this is what I'm talking about. This is completely chemically seized to the frame. Aluminium and steel have become one basically. So aluminium oxide has basically bonded it to itself. It's sandpaper in there now really. You can't pull this out. Trust me, you cannot get this out with the 101 methods you'll see on the internet. I'm going to go through those methods just to show you sort of levels of violence concerned. But this ain't coming out with any of them. Someone's already had a damn good go at that. But at the end of the video, I'm pretty hopeful I'm going to get it out. I'll show you how. So I'll put a link below to a video by a guy called Phil Vanderlei. You might have seen it yourself. He's a sort of bike engineer type video. It's a really good channel actually, to be fair, really nice. But he's done a video on exactly this, pulling seat posts out. And some of these things have took nearly 3 tons of pressure to extract from the frame. So if you think you're just standing over this and wiggling it out after a squirt of WD-40, you're very sadly mistaken. If you've had results doing that, lucky you. You've not experienced a seized seat post. This is seized. This is what we're talking about. Completely chemically seized, as I say. They have become one with galvanic corrosion over the years. Not even just on the older frames. You can get this on fairly new frames if they've not been greased on, assembly, etc. You can get this problem. So, like I say, I'm going to cover steel frames. The principles will be similar in some respects for aluminium frames. Carbon frames, especially ones with aero-shaped seat posts. You're not going to get that out without sending to a specialist. Seatpostman.com in the UK. Awesome guy. 100% success rate, he claims. We don't know what his technique is. It's a trade secret. Anyway, let's just go through the basic techniques of what you might want to try if you've got a seized seat post. Actually, you've probably got a slightly stuck seat post and you might have some results. If you got like this, you ain't getting it out, trust me. Let's get going. So the first thing you're going to look at is a penetrating oil. This is PB Blaster from the US. I sourced this in the UK at some obscene price. Whew, it smells good though, honestly. Not good in a good way, but you can tell this is good stuff, and it really is good stuff. WD-40 do a penetrating oil. We use Plus Gas. There's loads and loads of different ones out there. And if you've got a mildly seized seat post, you might get lucky. This might get you out. So normally what you do is you spray that around the top of the seat post, take the bottom bracket out ideally, and spray it down the seat tube, and let it soak overnight, and let it do its job. So that's number one. This is number two. So this is a vice. The next best thing everyone will tell you to do is clamp the frame by the seat post in the vice. This one I can tell you has already been done. You can see the marks on it. It's had Stilsons, the lot. However, this ain't going to get this one out. Again, if you've got one mildly seized, this might work for you, and look at you. However, the seat post has already been broken there. So the idea of this is to clamp it by the seat post, then you've got the leverage of the whole frame to twist that out, and it will break the joint there. However, like I say, someone's already killed this seat post and they've basically sheared the top off in there, and that's what's going to happen. I've seen vices break doing this. That's how tight these things are. So again, penetrating oil overnight, get it in the vice like this. If it comes out, you've had a lucky escape. It ain't going to come out on this one though. Next up, fire. So the idea of this, obviously heat the outside of the frame up. You want to heat the steel up instead of the aluminium. If you heat the aluminium, basically expands faster than the steel, just gets itself even tighter. The idea of this would be to heat the frame, potentially cool the seat post. Again, not going to work on this one. The downside of that, as you can see on the other frame, is you completely destroy the paint. And instead of that, or even in conjunction with that, you might want to try a freeze spray. So you would try and cool the aluminium seat post down, and the idea was to shrink it into the steel frame that shrinks at a slower rate, and then it just falls out. Not going to work on this one either. Next up, big hammer. The idea of this one is you're trying to break the seat post, trying to knock it past the corrosion in the frame, loosen it off, and then pull it back out. Definitely not happening with this one as well. But again, in conjunction with some of the other methods we've looked at, this may help you if you've not got a seized seat post, if you've got one that's a bit stuck, yeah? There's a big difference. Pretty much your last resort is to cut it out. So you would cut the top of this off here, then you would use a pad saw like this and cut big slots into it like that. This works depending on your frame. If you've got steel, you can do it no problem. If you've got a aluminium frame with a carbon post, I've done one of those, I'll just put a quick clip up. And you can cut it out, basically. You cut through the carbon, you cut through the aluminium without cutting the frame. That will do it. Don't get me wrong, that's 90% guaranteed to get it out, but boy, it takes a long time. Another option is a chemical attack. So people will tell you to turn it upside down, take the bottom bracket out, fill the seat tube with Coca-Cola, leave it overnight. If that doesn't work, you can get a bit more aggressive, or a lot more aggressive with caustic soda. Again, it's pretty nasty stuff. Not going to do your paint much good, it's not going to do your hands much good if you get it on. But by all accounts, it does get it off. You can also use gallium as well. I've thought about doing that as a small video. So gallium basically makes this extremely brittle, and it just smashes out into little pieces. Doesn't affect steel, doesn't affect your hands either. Fantastic stuff. So that would work as well. I've seen a video about that, and that is effective as well. But again, it depends on the combination of your frame. It will only work on an aluminium seat post. If you've got an aluminium post and an aluminium frame, you can't do that. Again, with caustic, you can only use that on a steel frame. You can't use it on carbon, you can't use it on aluminium. So you're a bit limited, but on these sort of steel frame aluminium posts, which is a classic combination, a chemical attack probably will do the job for you. Can get a bit messy though. I've tried it once before and wasn't successful with it. I ended up putting a screwdriver through the side of the seat tube, trying to chisel it out. And that's what happens to most of them. So we have a plan B. So I'm going to show you what that is right now. Found one of these. I think you know what this is. This is a seat post pulling machine. These don't really exist to be bought, however, I found one. So when I was on holiday in Mexico, supping the tequilas, this popped up. So this is made by a company, I can't pronounce the name, apologies, in France. I bought one and it's just arrived today. So this company is a frame builder. They have a bit of a production run on this. They had 10 on the go when I saw the video. So it looks like they know what they're doing, and they've done videos of it actually being in use. So I don't think you could buy this off the shelf. I'm pretty sure you can't anywhere else. I've downloaded some plans before. I've thought about making one before. I've had some scrap metal lined up to make one. Just never happened really. And then when this popped up, couldn't resist it. So I've got one now. So we're going to open this and we're going to give it a go. If you've seen the videos by other people, like the Phil Vanderlei video, this is the sort of machine he was using to physically pull the seat post out of the frame. It's very brutal, however, it's supremely effective normally, especially on these steel frames. So I'm going to open it up. I've not looked at this yet, obviously it's still sealed in the packet, and see what we've got. So just to let you know, the cost of this is actually really reasonable in my opinion. Shipped, including customs charges, VAT, everything, France to the UK, £350 roundabout, which I think is a bargain. Looking at their videos, it looks like pretty impressive stuff. It's all TIG welded up and looks pretty chunky. It certainly weighs a ton anyway, so can I open it up and see what's in here? All right, let's see what we got. I like the sticky tape, didn't they? This is your windy handle. So there's the handle, there's the welding. Nicely TIG welded. You can use some handlebar grips on there as well. In the bag, a little bits here. No idea what any of this is yet. And there's no instructions, unsurprisingly. Okay. So that's a bearing for the top. And these look like they're sort of various different sized clamps. And this, I'm guessing, is designed to go in the bottom bracket, because that's what it will brace against and then pull against there. Right, give me 5 minutes, I've got to work out how this goes together, and then we'll chuck a frame in it. And that's on its feet, they're not level yet, I just need to give it a bit of a whack to get it level. And this bit here basically slides up, clamps around your seat posts, and then you get winding. Fucking world's longest thread, that's for sure. And then this piece here, you would take that out to accommodate different size seat posts. That's what those other little bits of the pieces are for. You take these out, 31.6 this says. There's what, 3 other sizes there? So yeah, right. So I'll quickly whip this bottom bracket out, and then I'll try and get it in the stand, and then we'll give it a go. Well, tight as well. Wow, that's tight. I've not moved once. Let me make sure I'm on full bore. No, I'm not. Right, crank her up. Full blast. Oh, not tight. Of course, if you can't get that out, you failed at the first step, but yeah, it was quite tight, but she's out. Well, I've levelled the feet up, no problem, that was easy. Look at this, they engraved it and everything. The other side's got a number on it. And there's the other side. So, no cheap rubbish. Yeah, I'm slightly disappointed it doesn't have a serial number. This is a V3, so they've obviously been doing this for a while. Where have they been hiding all my life? Right, I'm going to put some grease in this bearing. Obviously I'm using finish line grease. To be fair, you probably need some ultra torque stuff here, because there's going to be a lot of torque going through this. That's for sure. I got told off today for a video for talking too much. I'm sorry guys. I don't think what you don't realise is, not so much this video, but a series video is normally 5 or 6 hours footage. And obviously I've got to edit that down into something watchable, sort of an hour. There's no space for not talking, guys, so I'm sorry. If you don't like it, there's not a lot I can do about it. But luckily, most of you do like it, and if you do like it, you know what to do. Well, I've also added some oil to this very long threaded bar. First I'm going to measure the seat post, 26.2-ish. I think the problem with this one is because someone's already killed this one, it's going to pull against there and potentially going to rip it straight out, so we might have to do some modification. So you got to take this bit off as well to get the other half of that adapter in. And that's an inch of steel there. So the smallest I've got is 27.2, so we'll have to go with that and see what happens. I'm guessing it won't be too difficult to get someone to cut different sizes if need be, for plasma cut them or laser cut them. So I'm guessing now, because you've got to guess, there's no instructions, but this will go around the seat post. You've got to get the frame in here as well, like that, and then loosely bolt this in. So that's clamped there. Now we've got to shove this through the bottom bracket. Probably should have put that in first. Definitely should have put that in first. Right, this is too tight. What you need to do, learning as I go, loosen this off, get this in first, because the frame is basically on there, not level. There you go. So now that will go through there, and this will go through there. Right, so that bit's in. Now I can tighten this bit up. I don't know where it's supposed to go, if it's going to go at the top. I guess it's going to be easy at the top, because all it's going to do is slide up here anyway. So I'll move it to the top initially. There will be more thread for me to wind down, but no more. I don't know about you guys, but I'm quite excited by this. I've not put any penetrating oil down there, I've not done anything. It's literally, as you saw, it's just hanging off the frame. So now I've got to wind this down until it touches here. Right, if you put a ratchet on here instead of turning the handle, you can do it double fast. Or better still, you can use your air gun, can't you? Duh. Wow. That saved me about an hour of winding it in. I'm pretty sure this nut here has got to be locked on basically, otherwise when you turn the handle the whole thing turns and doesn't actually pull anything, so lock this down. So now in theory it should just be a case of winding this handle down. I should get a lot of tension building up and then the seat post might come out. So I'm just going to wind that until I can actually feel it biting in and doing something, which I can now. Ooh, exciting. So I'm going to put a mark on the top of the seat post with a Sharpie so I and you can see if it's doing anything. So that's where it is at the moment. I'm going for it. Something moved. I think that was the seat post. Let me zoom you in. Right, that was the first crack, and that tends to tell you something's moving. So as suspected, that just pulled that out the top of the seat post. So even that shows you how much force is involved in this. Obviously that was a press fit from factory. It's corroded itself, but this has come out before the seat post has come out of the frame. That's still there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drill a big hole through here. So I'll put a big bolt through there and that'll rest on top of this clamp. And we'll keep going. Right, so there's a hole through there. So what I've done, I've put that hole quite low because what I suspect is going to happen is going to start shearing up that seat post. So it's going to be plenty of material to hopefully get it out before we completely shears it in half, and then we're chucking it in the bin anyway. So that's where the hole is. So I'm going to put something through there and we'll basically pull against that. Let me see what I've got. Right, so my idea is now I've got it below there, I'm going to use something, maybe like this podger bar. I'm going to put that through the hole there, and then this bracket will pull against that podger bar. But before I do that, I'm just going to AI it to make sure. Will I die if I do this? Send. This is a serious piece of industrial rigging for a stubborn seat post. To answer your question directly, doing this is high risk, but not necessarily for your life. Okay, good viewing then. Tube explosive failure. Sounding good. Safety list. Yeah, we'll skip past that. I've got safety glasses on, don't worry guys. It gets pretty technical, I'm not going to lie. It gives you graphs and everything. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff this is, guys. So basically what it's saying is what I thought, the only real risk is it's going to start shearing the seat post in half. So let's go. It feels pretty tight. Right, so under a lot of tension now, and it's starting to feel a bit sketchy, but that's super tight now. I'm pretty confident this podgy bar will bend rather than shatter, but rather than risk it, I'm going to leave it under tension for half an hour. I've got something to do, and I'm going to come back and see if it's actually broken anything free. But yeah, it's starting to feel a bit sketchy, I'm not going to lie. It'd be far more ideal if it hadn't fallen out and you could actually clamp on the seat post and pull it straight against there, but that's just how stuck this is. It's completely seized, as I said. You ain't getting this out with any of these other techniques. Right, I'm going to leave this as for a bit and come back to it. Whew. Right, so I've asked a different AI and they've suggested using a bike axle instead of a podgy bar. So, unbelievably, I've got some spare bike axles. Maybe chuck one of them in, just wind this off a bit. What it also said is cover the whole thing in a blanket in case someone does shear off, but well, I think that's just very rapidly going to bend that axle though, to be honest. It moved. Pretty sure that was a seat post. Axle snapped. But I think the seat post did move. So it definitely did move. There's about a 3mm gap there. Obviously took this axle with it, but it's moved once. Normally once you get it moving once, you'd expect it to be a bit easier, but it's not quite that easy. But it's moved. So some success. It sheared this axle in half as I thought it might do, but it has moved the seat post. Maybe about 4 or 5mm. But once it starts moving, you know, that's half the battle. It's actually physically moved. You can hear that big crack, and that's when it starts just breaking free of its friction. Anyway, I've got to go to a meeting now. Imagine that being self-employed. So I've got a meeting with YouTube about channel memberships. So it's all for you guys, basically. So perks of becoming a channel member. I did release it quite recently. Things like early access to videos, that will be coming shortly. You get your little emojis and stars and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm learning about it. I've got 13 meetings with YouTube about it. So it's another hour-long Zoom meeting. I don't get to go to many meetings nowadays, but yeah, I'm going to go to this one now. So I'll continue with this one tomorrow, and hopefully we can get it out. And hopefully that GT's slightly easier than this one. It's been a bit of a challenge. I'll get one more go with this axle, and I've got loads of spare ones obviously, so we'll just keep going with this. If it just breaks like that, it's fairly controllable, so we'll get it out, don't worry. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Welcome back everyone. Day 2. Safety glasses at the ready, don't worry. So what I've done actually yesterday at the end of the day is I've put some PB Blaster down there. The reason I've done that really is it's a brand new machine and it's a bit of an experiment at the moment until I fully suss it out. I don't want to break it the first time I'm using it, so if we can give it a helping hand. We have broken that initial layer of corrosion. It did move 3 or 4mm, so in theory the penetrating fluid has now got somewhere to actually go rather than just being completely sealed off by the layer of corrosion. So hopefully that's done a bit of work. That was PB Blaster in there as well. So I've reloaded it again with the remains of that bolt. It is under tension at the moment, and what I've also done is did the sensible thing and clamp it into my work stand, so I'm not fighting against that now. I don't know why I didn't do that yesterday. Anyway, it's ready. And as an added bonus, what I'm going to do now, it is under some considerable tension. This bolt is already bending. I'm going to heat this up with a heat gun, not flames, and see if that's just going to give an almighty crack. So I'll do a bit of an experiment. Like I say, I don't want to break the machine. And I think potentially we're going to give it a helping hand by doing this as well. So if you've got this machine and there's other bits you can do at the same time, I think it'd be crazy not to at least try that. So I'm going to get the heat gun. I'm going to heat this area whilst it's under some heavy tension. And the second reason I'm doing it like this is because it's scary. So I've loaded it up, it's under tension, and I'm going to heat it up with this hot air gun basically. This gets pretty damn hot. So I'll give it a good blast, and in theory, if the heat actually does anything to help this scenario, you should hear a big crack and it'll pop up another few millimeters. I'll put a fresh mark on there at the moment because the PB Blaster deleted it. So I'll give this a go, and if anything happens, I'll show you. Well, it's 120 degrees Celsius nearly now. 110, 115 degrees Celsius. It's pretty damn hot, that is. All that's happened is it's melted the stickers basically. This has not moved at all. So it did nothing at all then basically. So what I'll do is I'll try and give it a bit of a wind. I would put freezy spray in there, but there's no real access to it because of what we've got going on here now. So, right, doing nothing still. That's pretty damn tight, guys. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the AI's advice. I'm going to put a sheet over this. You're not going to be able to see what's happening, but it's pretty sketchy and I'm a bit scared, so I'm just going to get a sheet to put on there. Also, I think it kind of goes without saying that this is going to be the end of your seat post. The idea really here is to save the frame. The seat post is going to be sacrificial. Maybe in best case scenario, if it wasn't particularly stuck, the seat post might just pull out, but the corrosion that's going to be on there anyway, you really wouldn't want to be saving it. So yeah, you're going to lose your seat post doing this, guys, but a seat post is £30–40 versus however expensive your frame is. If it's some vintage retro thing, it's going to be quite pricey. Right, whoa, something moved. So I'm going to put this sheet over. This is a dust sheet that you may recognise from the workshop refurb. So excuse the paint all over it, but like I say, it's just getting a bit scary. Right, almost certainly what's going to happen is that axle's going to snap, but we'll continue anyway. Getting very, very tight now. Wow, that's under a lot of tension now. Flipping heck. Not the most exciting thing to look at, I know, but you've got to be safe, haven't you guys? Pretty sure that was the bolt. Yep, there was a seat post. There you go, that's the end of that bite then. Yeah, so that has completely snapped the seat post in half when I drilled that hole through. Absolutely mental. You wouldn't believe how tight these things are. Good news is I've not damaged the puller. Bad news is this bike is on its way to the tip. Scrap metal now. I ain't never coming out, guys. Yeah, can't win them all. Alright, that was the first test. I think I learned a bit on there. I learned how sketchy and dangerous it is, that's for sure. So we'll load up the GT now and see if that is any more successful, but Jesus. How thick that is, it just literally ripped it off. Anyway. I think most people's concerns around this would be the effect on the bottom bracket shell. One thing is not so great on this pull, I mean it's not touched the bar. A lot of the ones I've seen that people made, they've made this bar fit into a bottom bracket cup, or a spare bottom bracket shell basically, so that would do that. I mean this is aluminium and it's pulling on against the thread, so I don't really think it's going to damage anything. But potentially it would be nicer if you could use some cups in there, but at the end of the day it's not bent the bar. There's some dents in there from the threads obviously, that's it. Alright, let's chuck this GT, see if we can be a bit more successful than that. Just as a matter of interest, I'll show you how much seat post is in there. Not that much. I'll hook this spoke on the bottom of it and you can see how much you're dealing with them. That's the top of the seat post, that's about to the top of the frame, so there's only that much in there. It's not like it's all the way down to the front derailleur mount. Just before we try this next one, a quick pause in the video to say a big thanks to Sport and Leisure for sponsoring this video. If you need a new seat post after you've got it out, you know where to go. So when you're in the middle of a job, the last thing you want is progress to come to a grinding halt because the part that said it was in stock actually wasn't in stock, not even in the same country half the time. So that's why I use Sport and Leisure. They're UK based, their stock levels are live. If the website says it's on the shelf, it genuinely is on the shelf. Order before 3 PM and it will ship the same day with free shipping in the UK. And next day delivery is only £2.50, absolute bargain, which is a no-brainer when you're trying to keep the work moving. So they've also updated the discount for the channel. If you head to sportandleisure.com/BCR or scan the QR code on screen right now, it will generate a unique voucher at checkout for 10% discount on your first order. So if you're buying seat posts anyway, it's an easy saving. So the link's down below. And thanks again to Sport and Leisure for continuing to sponsor the channel. Let's have a look at this next one then. Tell you what, when I was a young lad, I don't know, 12, 13, I always wanted a set of these XCE cranks to put on my rally Mustang. I don't know why. I always thought they looked so cool. Now I've got a set. I might actually try it. I don't think they're going to fit because the Mustang's got a BMX style oversized bottom bracket, but you never know. Maybe another video. The bottom bracket's out. I think this is the remains of penetrating oil, not water. So they've obviously had a damn good go at this one. Anyway, that's out. Let's go again. I've just been taking my thumbnail pictures. Hope you liked it. Right, this is a bit of a heavy beast now. Whew. One thing I've discovered, if you've still got the forks in, this won't sit on the floor. Obviously what you need for that is a part tool block of wood again. They've not contacted me yet to buy the patent off me. I don't know why. Disappointing. Might be a slight design overlook there, I think. Well, hopefully it does the job, because I would like some success in this video. Whoever's had a go at it before has put this big score line on here, so I think we'll just use that. I'm just going to go for it. So it's all clamped up, everything's tight. Let's get winding and see what happens. Just pulled that out again. Oops. Right. You know what to do next, don't we? I think it would be better if there was a clamp that would physically clamp around this post like the ones in Phil Vanderlai's video. So I might have to look at that, I think, because doing this every time, I don't think it's going to work. I'm pretty sure it's not going to work, to be honest. I think it's just going to shear the seat post in half again, the same. So it's already pretty damn tight, so I'm putting the safety blanket on it again. Very bending, the axle. Right, you know what guys, I don't give up that easily. Got plan B. I apologise if there's any audio issues because for some reason I stopped recording sound, so I've tried to sync them up anyway. Moving on, I'm sure a lot of you have been screaming at the screen anyway. I'm going to try this stem. This is clamped on super tight. I can't see that ever moving. I have obviously already drilled a hole in the seat post, that's not ideal, but I'm going to lift against this stem now, so let's see what happens with that. Because I think it's what this puller really needs is a clamp that's going to go around there. I'll show you a picture of one that other people have used. I don't know where they get them from, but I think it will definitely work if I can just grip this post. So this bit here, I'm just not convinced it's going to do the job. But let's give it a go like this, see what happens. So I think what potentially is going to happen here is it's going to bend this, because this piece here is higher than this. If this was able to sit flat all the way around, I think we'd be in with a better chance. So potentially it might be better just to cut that off now, rather than putting extra leverage on there, and then it'll pull completely flat on there really. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sacrifice this stem, cut this piece off here, and then just use this piece here to pull with, because this thing here is just going to pull against this step and obviously bend that straight up before it actually sits on this plate. So I'm just going to cut this off. So I've cut the back end of that off now, so basically all of this stem is sitting on this flat plate now, so I think that should work a lot better, if at all. Right, okay, let's lift that up now. Yeah, it's just sliding up the seat post. Let's try another stem. Stop that stem moving. Always talk your stem up, guys, remember. 6 newton meters, I don't think that's going to be enough somehow. I think more like 60 is going to be enough. They're pretty tight. Place your bets. I could have fixed 6 bikes in the time I've been messing around with this, and that's why bike shops are not interested in this. Right, I'm going to put it under load again one more time, and I'm going to give it some heat like I did with the other one. Let's see if that helps, but I highly doubt it. It's not moved at all, this one. At least the green one moved a tiny bit. Oh, that's hot. I'm going to try the freezer spray inside the seat post, because the hole that I drilled means I can get in there. So this might make a noise. Nothing. I'm not giving up yet. Third time lucky. I bought some of these machine split collars. These are heavy duty steel, and you can clamp these on super tight. So this is a 1 inch, so it's ever so slightly undersized. Seat post is 26 point something. So I've clamped it on already, and it bites really tightly into the seat post. Or at least that's the theory anyway. So if this don't work, then I don't know, give up. Anyway, let's give this one a go. So you can see that on there, that is clamped super tight, bending Allen key tight. I had to shave a little bit off to clear this part of their bracket though. I have just tried this with another one on top at 90 degrees. I don't think I did it tight enough, because it literally just pulled them off. So I'm highly suspecting that's exactly what's going to happen with this as well, but I literally can't get that any tighter. And because it's undersized, like I say, it's bit into that seat post pretty tight. Anyway, let's give it a quick wind and see what happens. Yeah, pretty sure that's just sliding straight up there again. Yeah, it is. Wow, what do you got to do to get this thing out? So I've doubled up the clamps here, and as you can see, it literally just pulls it straight out the top again, so no good on that one either. This one is a GT. I put 4 clamps on here, marked it up, absolutely did not move one single bit until... yeah, I ripped the seat post clean in half. So don't drill holes in your seat post, guys. Lesson learned. What can I say? Double failure. You know, there's nobody more disappointed than me. I'm sorry for the anticlimax. I was really hoping I'd get at least one of those out in this video. But at the end of the day, it was a pretty steep learning curve. It's the first time I've looked at this machine, the first time I've used it. Mistakes were made. I shouldn't have drilled those holes through the seat post, clearly. I should have gone straight for that 4 clamp system, because that weren't going anywhere. I think I'd have had a bit more success on the green, because I did actually move. I think we'd have got that out if we'd have gone straight for that 4 clamper. But this GT, absolutely no way. That is, it's literally at one with the frame, you know, it's just never coming out in a million years. So yeah, gives you an indication of just how tight these things are. All the conventional methods I showed you at the beginning, absolutely no chance. Yeah, you can still get these out with chemicals, you could still hacksaw it out now, but I'm not going to do it on these because at the end of the day, I bought these as scrap metal for the video and they serve their purpose. They're done. So hopefully there's going to be a part 2 for this video, but I need some volunteers. Anybody in the UK, in the Midlands area, has got some scrap frames like this, they don't mind going to waste and donating to the channel. Let's get him in this machine. See if we can have a bit more success for you guys. I know it's possible, and I've seen other people do it many, many times. Other channels have got a very similar machine and been more successful. Maybe I've just got the 2 world's tightest seat. I don't think it's the puller. I think it's done a cracking job. Well, not literally cracking job. It's done a great job. They're still in one piece. No damage to it whatsoever. I'm sure there'll be a million comments saying all you needed to do was X, Y, Z. That's fine. Like I say, I'm learning with this machine here. It's the first time I've used it. And yeah, I probably could have done things slightly differently, but at the end of the day, you know, there's nothing to lose. These frames are scrap anyway. So anyway, if you want to see part 2, think about hitting that subscribe button. If I can get hold of some frames, then I'll certainly run another one on this one. Cut it out of the fluff, get straight to the point, and see if we can pull some posts out. I really want to get my money's worth on this machine. It's sitting here as a dead weight at the moment. It needs to start earning its keep. So yeah, stay tuned guys, and thanks very much for watching. I'm off for a rest. I'm absolutely knackered now.